To continue our discussion, I would like to tackle with you major differences in North and South. So, from the model, we can see that from population, North is heading. From railroad mileage, iron production, wealth, value of exports, factories, we can see that North is more advanced compared to South. And this makes a big difference between them. There are classification of countries, and there are three classification of it. Number one is the most developed country, which is MDC. Second is less developed countries, which is LDC. And the third is the least developed countries. So these are classification based on the resources that they have and their advancement in technology and many more. So this, let's discuss about this MDC, which is the richest of the industrialized and democratic nations of the world. So this is the most advanced countries. And the second one is the LDC, or less developed countries. Countries with little industrial development, little wealth, and high population growth. So if the population is higher but the industrial development or wealth is a little, then there is a problem. Probably those industrial development or resources could not afford to support the population because of this growing rate of people. And the third one, the less developed countries, a very low per capita income, low literacy rates, and very little in way of manufacturing industries. This is another way of saying that they have less education. And from the map, we can see that the north is rich and the poor is the south. This is the wealth of the global north. So you can see from the picture that those countries that are wealthy is shining, and those countries that are not developed or not that wealthy, they are dark. So we can see that technically north is advanced. Inventions are invented in those places, while in the dark ones, I know improvements of technology or inventions. So comparison. The comparison between north and south is not only one aspect. It can be seen through different angles, that is in political, economical, and social. And this can be seen between the two countries, the two divisions. And here is the classification in political, economic, and social. Let us look at first social. We consider that determined by life in the cities. So those are social. And while in the south, determined by the upper class. So we consider a division of people as well, not only in resources, not only in social, but division of those in higher position. Both religion and education were organized, while in south only children of plantation owners receive any education. So this is bias. This doesn't fit our Republic Act. And there were schools and churches in most towns, that is in the north. And while in the south, small farmers had little or no education. The culture of the south revolved around plantation life. So it means when you are rich, then you only when you are rich, then you have education. But when you are poor, then you just stay planting. But in the north, we can see that most of them are privileged of education. I'm not saying all, but most. In economic condition, we can see there examples: cheap labor. So this provides more work. But on the other side, in their economy, they only have cotton, tobacco, rice, and sugarcane, and this does not support the country. And in political, we consider that North is in advance compared to South. And there are three main reasons why our world is also unequal today. We have colonialism, trade, and debt. Colonialism. Today, North-South gap traces its roots to the southern world regions by Europe over the past several countries. This colonization occurred at different times in different parts of the world, as did decolonization. So it happens. Control by one power over a defendant area of people. Does not sound so good. That does not sound good to participate with right colonization. Trade. What you are spending to bring goods into your country is greater sum than what you are making by selling products in the global economy. So take note of this. Trade is not always safest way, or trade will is not always what you think that would make some a country rich. What you are spending to bring goods into your country, so from outside to your country, is greater sum than what you are making by selling products in the global economy. And second is that you are losing money. Why why spend a lot of money when you see that it does not help the country? And we consider that the southern countries suffered from this a lot. And that their products were losing money in the global economy, so they need to increase production. But how would they increase production? The only way they could do this was to borrow money from the rich northern countries, and this put them in debt. It's not advisable for a country to borrow money. This will put you into a great danger. Division of North and South. The North and South division, this is the rich poor division, is the socio-economic and political division that exists between the wealthy developed countries known as the North and the poorer developing countries, which is the least developed countries, or the south. Although most nations comprising the north are in fact located in northern hemisphere, the division is not primarily defined by geography. As nations become economically developed, they become part of the north. So regardless of geographical location, while in other nations which do not qualify for developed status are in effect deemed to be part of the south. So the location of the country does not define where he is in the north, or he is in the developed country, or he is in the least developed country. As long as you are developed, the country belongs to the north. The north mostly covers the west and the first world, which much of the second world. Excuse. The development gap. The north-south division has more recently been named the development gap. This places greater emphasis on closing the evident gap between rich, more economically developed countries and poor, which is least economically developed countries. Globalization. In terms of economic development, there exists an economic gap between northern and southern countries, which has been increased by globalization. And this is not good. Rich getting richer. How about poor? They will remain poor. And the process by which regional economies, societies, and cultures had become integrated through global network of political ideas through communication, transportation, and trade. This is the three world model. The first one is the capitalist. It is an economic system in which a country's trade, industry, and profits are controlled by private companies instead by the people whose time and labor powers those companies. So it's like authoritative style. Laborers and those people, they don't have the power. They don't have freedom. The freedom belongs only to those who are in a great position, who are rich. And the second one is the communist. Communist states in the world are in China, Cuba, Laos, and Vietnam. And when you hear communist, this does not sound good, right? But somehow they also have a good goals. These communist states often do not claim to have received socialism or communism in their countries. Rather, they claim to be the building and working toward the establishment of socialism in the country. So, from the map, we can see those countries who are in the communist states. The third one is the developing. This is the developing. A poor agricultural country that is seeking to become more advanced economically and socially. It also known as LAIC, or a low middle income country. These countries are characterized by being less developed industrially and a lower human development index, which compared to other countries have health risks such as having low access to safe water, as well as sanitation and hygiene problems. It's not good to be part of the developing countries, especially when you are poor. The three world model map. So this is how they classify those three world model map. The first world, which you can see from the map, they are in a green color. Second world, they are in the yellow color, and the third world is in the red color. So five world model. This is a different classification from model three world model map. and they classified it as first world order, which is the highest, and the second world order, that is the moderate, the third world order on the way or on the process, and the fourth world order is the lower, and the last one, which is the lowest, which is they considered it as fifth world order. Why is the gap between economic north and south widening? Why is it widening? Why it does not stop? The richest 1% of the world's population now receives as much income as the poorest 57%. Wow. This is the reason why the economy of north and south keeps on widening, and the gap. Lack of trade. Second is abundance of debt. Failure of international organizations. Adverse climatic conditions. The difficulty of transforming the established. In another word, we can say that they are lack of education. The closing gap. The United Nations has developed a program dedicated to narrowing the division through its Millennium Development Goals. This includes improving education and health care, promoting gender equality, and ensuring environmental sustainability. To sum up these phrases, education is very important. A countries where people are educated, they are advanced compared to those who are not educated. And this make the big difference between the two division, the north and the south. So let us be part of this action. Let us participate. Let's get education to narrow the suffering of our nation.